And some of those exercises are similar to other forms of exercises. The main thing is to get you breathing and moving. One of the things that I thought I would show you today is what a friend of mine from Montreal, Quebec taught me. She was a ballerina and she introduced me to ballet, and she had problems with her back. So she taught me some back exercises that I thought I might share with you as well, for the guys that do a lot of lifting, or for the women too, because everybody does a lot of hard work these days, men and women. So the first exercise she taught me was to put my knees bent like this in parallel, and elbows to your knees, and a hand in a prayer position. And then to lower the hands and the head as your hips come up. And just stretch your legs. Exhale, inhale up, and down. Up and down. Good. Up and down. And when you come up, you want to bend your knees forward as you roll your body up. Reach up to the sky, and back up here. And drop one arm. There we go. And you can reach into the circle that you're drawing with your hand. There we go. Reach into a deep pocket. Open your hands. Reach back, not too far. Look up to the sky. And roll your arms over your head. Bring the head down. Bend your knees. Let your arms and head hang all the way down. Roll up, knees moving forward between your arms. Arms up. And drop the other hand. Try to make a long, long line from your outside of your leg to the top of your hand. And reach into the circle. Breathing out, reach into a deep pocket. And open your hands up and over. One of the reasons we do these things are to keep ourselves limber and flexible so that we can do all kinds of exercises or jobs that require quite a bit of strength. So the other back exercise that I remember that she showed me was standing on your tippy toes and balancing. First you start flat foot like this in a half squat. And you reach out with your arms, like so. And then once you've got your balance, you lift up your heels onto a half toe, they call it. And you just focus on one spot. That's a good back exercise. And come down. Very good. Her favorite exercise was lying on her back. And I'm going to try to do that so you can get an idea of how that's supposed to look. You put your arms out in a cross fashion, like so, and basically bring your knee up and the other leg long, and stretch your hip flexor, and pick up your foot, open your elbows, and try to stick your head through your cuckoo, right here, and then come down, and reach across yourself with your leg, and try to leave your other hand lying flat on the ground here, arms open wide, and if you can, look in the opposite direction, so that way, away from your foot, and feel the stretch in your hip, all these muscles across that go from your shoulder all the way down through your leg. We'll get a nice stretch, and breathe. You can roll your hand up and over your head if you'd like, and let your foot move further away onto the side, and then back over onto your back here. And look far over your other hand. And then come back over and grab your knee, pull it up, and do the other side. So this foot goes down, the other knee comes up. There we go, up. Stretch it up. Some people might need to grab their pant legs because maybe their flexibility isn't very good yet. So whatever works for you. The main thing is to move and to start to increase your flexibility. And down and reach over over and across your own self. There you go. Slowly, and really breathe into the spots that feel uncomfortable and tight. If you can imagine that your breath actually can expand all the tissue around the sore spot, it really actually does start to help. So look way over to the other hand. Good. That's good. And you can reach up and over your own head. And back around. And look over to your hand. And feel the stretch in your hip area, all the way from your shoulder. Good stuff. All right. Now, one of the other things that you can do for your back, I learned this from a friend in Montreal as well. Her name was Fritz Ravensky. She taught me to pretend that my body was set up like an H, so my shoulders at the top of the H and my hips were the bottom of the H. And that you could fold your body by pretending that somebody put a heavy metal bar across you this way and would fold your knee into you on the exhale. And then stretch it up and flex your foot parallel to the ceiling and let your knee fall into your chest and ribs. And hold that for a second. Inhale up and circle your foot back down. And you do that on the other side. Inhale. Inflate your belly, exhale, flatten the belly down towards the ground, knee comes in, up, and flex, and bend, and point your heel up, and inhale, and then exhale down. Do that a few times on each side. Inhale. Your belly blows up full of air, then you exhale, it sinks down. Navel towards the floor, knee comes towards your chest. Inhale up and flex your foot and bend your knee into your rib cage and hold. Try not to do too much holding in your muscles. You really want to kind of just let your leg fall and hang where it will. At first you might find you don't have much flexibility at all, but with time that does get better. Inhale and exhale out. Knee comes to your rib cage, point up, inhale, exhale, flex, and let your knee fall into your rib cage. Good, it feels really good. Now, this is not only a good hip stretch and leg stretch, but your back gets a stretch if you think about it while you're doing it. Inhale, exhale, knee comes in, especially when you do the knee bend. Inhale up. Exhale down, knee comes down. Now imagine the bottom part of your H, your hip, on the side that's moving, stretching away from the shoulder, which is the top part of your H. And then up, inhale, and rotate the leg down. One last time on the other side. Inhale, exhale, knee comes in, toe goes up. Inhale, exhale, let the knee fall into your rib cage and chest. So this is where you imagine the lengthening of the two ends of the side of your H. So if there's a line drawing from your hip to your shoulder, that's getting a good stretch. Heel up, inhale, exhale, down. I don't know if you've ever done any Pilates classes, but they're wonderful. They teach you to move on the inhale, which is a little different than what we just did. And they do these little teeny movements. You think, how could that do anything for me? But if you exhale, flatten your belly as long as you can. Make sure your pelvis is actually on the ground. So you don't want to be sway back like that. You want your back flat on the ground. You can inhale up just your head and put your arms parallel to the ground here and do little bounces with your arms. And if you purse your lips as you breathe out, that helps activate the abdominal muscles. The breathing pattern can vary. I like to do the 3 breaths out, 2 breaths in. That's just because I learned a technique of breathing from my cousin's husband, who does mountain tours walking in France, in the Pyrenees. And he says that the Afghan tour guides would devise this breathing pattern that allows you to maximize your oxygen. And it's 3 breaths out, 2 breaths in, and hold. So, but I don't pretend to reinvent the Pilates method. I certainly am not, I'm not one to tell you how to do things, but I like to walk like that. You might see me, I look kind of goofy, but I'm known to do stuff like that because it feels good. And some people believe that if you breathe in a pattern that maximizes your oxygen, not only does it allow you to exercise a lot longer, but it also helps you to get into a state that could be compared to a meditative state. Apparently 5 breaths out and 3 breaths in with a hold at the end. So more like this. Is very much like the sleeping pattern when we breathe. And when we sleep, we breathe sort of with that pattern. Of course, we're not doing it with pursed lips, we're sleeping, we're relaxed. But when you do it consciously and awake, apparently it tricks your brain so that you can't think rationally the way you normally do, and you get into a state of, it's almost like a meditation, and you get all kinds of ideas. I get great thoughts while I'm swimming, walking, skating, and doing that kind of breathing. Now the walking, I don't know if you've done this before, but the elliptical machine at the gym, you can go to the Y or to the Mansion House, or you might have one at home, is a big swinging of the leg. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is because it doesn't really require very much effort at all. In fact, you want to practice swinging your leg before with no effort whatsoever. Okay, so it really requires mostly relaxation, not using the big muscle group. Whoops! So you swing from the hip, the weight of your leg carries you forward and pushing off of your toes. So you push off your toe and you get a good maximum glutamus sort of tightness, which will help get your backside in shape. And your arms swing also equally. Here's another exercise you can do to get used to that. Swinging your arms, like heavy at the bottom, light at the top, heavy. I like doing this and going all the way around. All the way around. You don't have to do that, but it's a good swimming warm-up. So now if you just do the half circle, which is just down and up, like this, and you apply that to your walking. Like that, right? So you're going one for nothing and okay, so I know there's not a lot of space for me to do this, but you can do this, and I like to pretend I'm whistling so it looks like I'm going la-di-da, like that, pushing off my toes, because that kind of feels like you're doing, like, you know, like a joyful walk. But really what I'm doing is using my abs to move my legs, and there's a cross patterning that's happening, see? Arm against the leg. So it really helps to get your brain functioning at its optimum level. It's relaxing. And you can do it just for a few minutes a day. Just go around the block before you get into the shower to go to work, and you'll see the difference. It really makes a huge difference. I'm trying